Coming to you live from the fabulous Mediaplex in downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College journalism presentation.
Hi, I'm Stacey Janzer, and you're watching Mediaplex News Now. In our top story, following Monday's 3-1 win against Switzerland, the Canadian women's hockey team goes for gold on Thursday against the U.S. Students have a lot on their minds, including student loans and the debt that goes with it. As Mandy Matthews reports, there are ways to deal with it.
According to Statistics Canada, more than one-half of all Ontario college students graduate with student debt. 24-year-old St. Clair College student Nate Hope is paying his tuition with the money he earns as an apprentice bricklayer.
During that time, there's a lot of things I was unsure of, maybe a little bit confused about where I should direct my finances at that point.
Aside from tuition debt, 80% of graduating college seniors also have credit card debt before they have a job. Executive Director of Financial Fitness Windsor Center, Wendy Dupuis, says it is within reason for students to go into debt while pursuing a college education.
Borrowing money makes that item available in the short term. For instance, a car, student loan to finance a college education.
Dupuis also says it's important to develop a financial plan in order to avoid extraordinary debt, which can become unmanageable. I'm Mandy Matthews reporting for Mediaplex News Now.
Shop smart, shop green. Alice Hewitt has a special guest in the studio who wants to show us how to shop eco-friendly. Alice?
Thanks, Stacey. I'm here with Deborah Purdy, owner of Shop Eco. Now tell me, Deborah, how long has Shop Eco been in Windsor?
Shop Eco's actually been in Windsor since 2007, so it's been 7 years now. I'm the third owner. When it was founded, it was originally in Tecumseh. The second owners bought it in 2009 and moved it to Walkerville, and then I took over in 2012, and we're back in Walkerville again.
Now it's the first of its kind for the area, isn't it?
That's correct. Yeah, in a lot of stores in the area now you can find a natural products section or a selection of eco-friendly products, but we're the only truly dedicated store for eco-friendly products.
Now, what kind of products do you sell at Shop Eco?
We carry a wide variety. Our focus is on personal care and cosmetics. So we screen all the ingredients of all the personal care products we bring into the store and make sure that they're as safe and eco-friendly as possible. And then we carry a selection of water filtration systems, cleaning products, candles, gift items. Right now we have organic heirloom seeds in stock as well, so it's kind of a little bit of everything.
Very nice. What variety of customers do you see at Shop Eco?
It's been really interesting actually to see our customers become more diverse as our product selection evolves. And so now we have new parents looking for skincare products for their babies. We have people with skin sensitivities like eczema who are looking for something that's not going to irritate their skin. We have people shopping for unique gifts, beauty product junkies who just want to see the latest natural products that are out there, and kind of a little bit of everybody wandering in now.
Very nice. So you've brought a selection of products with you today. Can
Yep.
you explain about what you have here?
Sure. I've actually brought with me today all products from locally based businesses. And so first off we have from Fairhaven. Fairhaven is a company based in Harrow, Ontario. They make all natural cold processed soaps. There's probably about 25 different varieties of soap now, but I brought their We Love Local trio with me today. And so it's a trio of soaps made with local ingredients. We have a coffee soap made with direct trade coffee roasted here in Windsor from Whipsaw Coffee. There's also a Sun Parlour honey oatmeal soap, which is made with honey from Sun Parlour, which is based in Cottam. And then we also have a Walkerville beer soap, which is made with beer from Walkerville Brewery. So those are available as a part of this little gift set, or they're also available individually. And I also brought their deodorant with me because anybody who's trying to switch over to natural personal care products will tell you that deodorant is usually the hardest thing to switch. It depends a lot on your personal body chemistry, and so something that works for me won't necessarily work for you, but a good number of our customers have a lot of luck with the Fairhaven deodorant. It's a really nice product. And then I brought with me also the Amal Hammam Spa skincare line, which is based again in Windsor. She imports all of her ingredients direct from Morocco and then mixes them here in Windsor. So they're intended to be used as a traditional Moroccan hammam spa treatment. You would start normally with the Moroccan black soap, apply it to damp skin, let that sit for about 15 minutes to soften the skin. And then you would exfoliate with the exfoliating glove. After that you rinse, and then you can create a paste with the Moroccan lava clay. It comes dry, but you just mix it in water to make a paste, and you apply that as a mud mask. So you can do it full body, or you can just do it on your face if you like. Let that sit again for about 15 minutes. It draws the impurities out from the skin. And then rinse that, and you can apply the pure argan oil as a moisturizer. Or argan oil is a great product because it's a dry oil, so it doesn't leave that kind of oily residue on your skin like a lot do. It just gives you a really nice youthful glow.
So a lot of your products are produced locally, is that true?
That's true, yeah. We try to source local as much as we can. If not local, then we try to choose at least Canadian products wherever possible.
Okay, what are the benefits of an eco-friendly lifestyle?
The benefits, I think, there's plenty of benefits for people with sensitivities, skin sensitivities. Some mainstream products irritate their skin, and it's just a pleasure to use natural products.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us today, Deborah. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, back to you, Stacey.
Thanks, Alice. That was a lot of great information. Now let's take a look outside at the early weather with Haley Trelout. Haley?
Well, Stacey, Christmas is over, but Jack Frost certainly missed the memo. Windsorites woke up this morning to winter wonderland, complete with slippery driving conditions and temperature-dropping wind chill. But looks like we just might be getting a break. Tonight you can expect partly cloudy conditions with a high of 2. I'll be back later in the show to give the rest of the weather forecast. Back to you, Stacey.
For many students, graduation time is approaching, but for many law students in Ontario, it is also a time of financial unrest. Alice Hewitt explains.
For law students everywhere, the bar exam is the result of 3 years of intensive hard work, but it now comes at a rather large price. The Law Society of Upper Canada has recently announced a fee increase that would see the cost of the bar exam and the articling required to almost double in price. Last year, graduating students paid a total of almost $3,000 to sit the bar exam. With the price increase, students will now be expected to pay over $5,000, either in full or through installments. The deadline to begin doing so is April the 4th. President of the University of Windsor Students' Law Society, Philip Kumbo, said the students' reaction to the fee was profound.
I guess a lot of students were very shocked to have the fee levied on them with such a close turnaround time. And a lot of students have planned and saved money to pay for the fee, but didn't expect it to be so much.
In response to the Law Society of Upper Canada's decision, students have created an online petition which they hope to give to the Society. As yet, there's no word on if the Society will take it under consideration. Reporting from Mediaplex News, I'm Alice Hewitt.
Severe flooding is still a major concern for many UK residents. There are currently 16 severe flood warnings in place across the UK. So far, at least 5,800 properties have been affected by flooding. Insurers estimate the average repair work for each home will be at least £30,000 to £40,000. 3 people have been killed by the severe weather conditions. Prime Minister David Cameron says the flood has been a tragedy for all affected. Dana Poisson sat down with Michelle Soulier from the Windsor Arts Council on this edition of 5 Minutes With.
My name is Dana Poisson, and this is 5 Minutes with Michelle Soulier. Michelle is the cultural animator for the Ontario Arts Council and also a founding member of Broken City Lab. Michelle, your role with the Ontario Arts Council, some may not be familiar with the term of cultural animator. Can you explain a little bit about what exactly you do?
Sure, that's basically just a fancy word for saying that I'm facilitating partnerships and developing relationships for submissions to a specific grant within the Ontario Arts Council's granting programs, which is the Artists in the Community and Workplace.
Through your experiences in the community, in the arts, you've been extremely involved. Can you speak to why this is a big benefit?
For sure. I mean, it gives artists of all disciplines the ability to get funding for projects that they want to do. The grant that I'm specifically promoting is a partnership grant, so it's a collaborative kind of artistic process that partners artists with nonprofit organizations or an ad hoc community group, etc., to make a collaborative piece together. And this might not be fitting for everyone, but also with my position, I'm doing a lot of professional development and helping people through the granting process overall, whether it be with small regional micro grants or other grants within the Ontario Arts Council's overall program.
So you're also working on a project, the Windsor Music Tangle. So your involvement in this is a massive database of like collaborative musicians. What are the challenges of creating this?
For sure, yeah. That project was actually funded through a grant through the Ministry of Ontario, and I was employed by the Windsor Public Library to do that project. It was a huge undertaking, for sure. Some of the challenges were, I'd say, making sure everything was included and being very organized and precise with everything and double checking. But I think that just kind of is part of my nature anyway, so that's why it was a really good fit for me to do, and it was fun as well. It really got me integrated into the music community and really familiar with all the local bands that are around here.
Can you actually just explain exactly what it is?
What it is? Okay, sure. Yeah, the Windsor Music Tangle was a collaborative project. It started at Fog Lounge with Tom Lucier, and it was craft paper up on the wall, which basically was a big mind map of local bands and musicians and showed their connections. So one musician might be in 3 different bands, etc. And then there was funding through the Windsor Public Library to hire a lead researcher and creative director for the project and turn it into an interactive website. And that was my job for about a year. And I just wrapped up that position. The website is going to be in existence for about 5 years, and there's now someone at the Windsor Public Library that is updating the website on an ongoing basis.
You do a lot of administrative work.
Yeah.
Do you have time to produce any of your own art?
I haven't recently, but I kind of try to inject it into whatever I'm doing. I currently also do an artist in residence program at a French high school, Lesource High School in Tecumseh. And I do collaborative projects with the high school kids, which is really fun. But as of the past 3 years or so, because I've been so busy with work, it's been a continuous thing. I've been really learning and developing some ideas for future projects, and I'm really looking forward to be able to do them eventually, yeah.
So if you had any advice for artists in the community looking for support, what would that be?
Don't burn bridges. It's really hard to do. Windsor is a small, big city, right? Everyone knows each other in the arts community, and it's really important that we all work together and build connections rather than separate each other and work in isolation.
This has been 5 Minutes with Michelle Soulier. Thank you for being here, Michelle.
Thank you, Dana.
Let's take a look back outside at our full weather forecast with Haley Trelout. Haley?
Thanks, Stacy. Did you know men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women are? Let's check out the 3-day weather forecast. Tomorrow, we're looking at mixed precipitation with much more enjoyable 4 degrees and a low of -3. Thursday, we're going up to 5 degrees with light rain and once again a low of -3. Finally, we're going to start our weekend off with mixed precipitation again with a high of 3 and a low of -2. Well, it looks like Jack Frost has been kicked out of town. Thank you for joining me for this weather's forecast. Back to you, Stacy, in that cozy studio.
Thanks, Haley. Financial planning is a topic on this edition of 5 Minutes With.
Hi, I'm Mandy Matthews, and today we are spending 5 minutes with Wendy Dupuy. Wendy is the Executive Director at Financial Fitness Windsor. Why do people go into debt, especially extraordinary debt?
Well, people usually take on debt to purchase something they couldn't otherwise afford. Borrowing money makes that item available in the short term. For instance, a car, a student loan to finance a college education, a vacation, purchasing a house. Extraordinary debt happens when people begin to borrow to finance a lifestyle. They make many of those purchases far beyond what they could have. They think they can manage the debt, but then if an emergency happens or they lose the source of income that they're using to pay that debt back, then it becomes very unmanageable and the debt becomes extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Is there any psychological factors that go into handling money?
Absolutely. Very early on, when we're children, we're actually learning childhood money messages from watching our parents' behavior with money and how they teach us money. And we form values and belief systems about money when we're at a very young age. And these belief systems and value systems we carry with us throughout our life, and that belief and what we believe about money actually influences our behavior with money. So, for example, if we believe that money represents security to us, our behavior will be to save money, because the more money we have saved, the more secure we feel. If we believe that money represents love, then we may spend a lot of money on buying people gifts in order to secure what we think is, in order to make them love us better. If we think that money gives us status, then we may go out and buy really fancy cars and fancy houses and designer clothing in order to be accepted and represent a certain status in life. So what we believe about money ultimately shapes our behavior with money.
So can spenders become savers?
They absolutely can. It's not easy. We're wired a certain way to think a certain way. What it begins with is a clear awareness of why you behave the way you do with money. So getting a clear awareness of the belief systems that are active in our lives. And once we understand the belief systems that are active in our lives, we can see whether or not those belief systems are serving us well or serving us poorly when it comes to managing our finances. We also want to take a look at our values systems and make sure that we have a good sense of where our values lie. And if we understand what our belief systems are and whether they're working for us and what we truly value in life, we can then start formulating new money behaviors. And the more we practice those new money behaviors that are aligned more with our values system, then we can actually turn spenders into savers. Typically, also what helps is if that person experiences a debt problem or some kind of significant traumatic experience when it comes to debt and having to pay money back, they're likely not to reoffend or to continue that behavior. Sometimes a really traumatic life experience will prompt them to change their behavior.
Can you explain how financial fitness can help someone?
Absolutely. When someone comes to financial fitness, they sit down with a financial counselor who's a certified professional in the industry, and what we do is we take a look at the total financial picture, assets, debts, liabilities, spending behavior, and we can work with a client to help them make changes to get them to a brighter financial future. That may be just through making a simple budget with someone, to looking at their goals and what they want and putting a plan together with them, right through to a debt management plan that actually helps them pay their debt back.
And what is the one thing you would say to someone who doesn't know where to start?
I'd really advise them to. It's not expensive. It's fairly reasonable to seek out the services of a financial counselor or a coach, and just to sit down and go over with your life plan with somebody. What is it you want? Think about your goals. Think about what it is you want with your finances. Think about where you want to be. Put some plans and goals together for your life, and they can help with that process for someone that hasn't got a clue, and they can also educate you around all the complexities of personal finance that we're faced with these days. So they can help put a plan together.
Thank you for spending this time with us, Wendy. I'm Mandy Matthews, and we've just spent 5 minutes with Executive Director of Financial Fitness, Wendy Dupuis.
Sticks on the ice. Reporter Liam Higgins took to the Vollmer Center this past week to give us an update on the LaSalle Vipers.
The LaSalle Vipers suffered an overtime upset this past Wednesday against the Leamington Flyers. The much-rivaled teams battled it out this past Wednesday with a competitive, energetic, and aggressive 3 periods at the Vollmer Center. The Flyers, who were just 1 point behind the LaSalle Vipers in the standings, prevailed with a 4-3 win. After forward Nathan Savage opened the scoring midway through the first period, Flyers forward Dylan Segan responded with a shorthanded goal, tying the game. In the second period, the Vipers failed to perform offensively, resulting in a 2-1 Leamington lead at the end of the second period. But it wasn't long before Vipers answered back. Although Leamington took a 3-1 lead early in the third period, forwards Mark Manchurik and captain Dylan Denemy scored to tie up the game at 3, sending it to overtime. Shortly into overtime, Flyers forward Tony Spidarelli ended the game with the goal and the victory. Denemy said even though the team struggled a bit in the second period, they have to stick with their game plan regardless of what the scoreboard says.
We just got to stick to the game plan. That's what I'm going to do, and hopefully it works out. That's why we keep losing games like this in overtime.
Vipers head coach Bill Bowler said that each loss is a lesson learned and that he expects to see an interesting playoff series ahead of him for the LaSalle Vipers.
There is a lot of parity, so even though if you finish above in the seedings or the standings, I don't know if it means a whole lot. It's who plays the best hockey in a 10-day span, and it should be exciting for our fans.
With 3 games left in the regular season, the Vipers have the ability to push back into first place. The Vipers will play their next game at the Vollmer Center on February 21st against the Sarnia Legionnaires. I'm Liam Higgins reporting for Mediaplex News Now.
It's a rough road for some dogs. I went to a non-profit animal shelter to find out more.
The old saying, "you can't buy love," isn't really the case here. For the Love of Paws, a pet rescue nonprofit, works in Windsor, Essex, placing dogs. Just around for a short period of time, they've been able to find homes for a lot of dogs.
Just over a year, yes. We've brought in over 120 dogs. We've adopted out over 100 dogs.
Bruno is one of their success stories.
He came in as a owner surrender with his father and his siblings. Yes, we were able to bring Bruno and his father over, so both have been adopted.
After the Browns family's 2 dogs died, they weren't sure when they would be ready for a new dog.
We had seen Bruno's picture on the computer, and if we knew that we liked him a lot when we saw him, and when we met him in person, there was really no question. We knew that he deserved to have a warm home and a happy family to love him. So
this rescue agency takes in dogs from as far as Lebanon.
Go through an organization, Beta, and last summer we brought in 4, and just this January we brought in our 2, and then we're going to be bringing in 4 more again in the summer.
For the Love of Paws has put together a petition to have stricter bylaws for pet safety in harsh weather.
Because we've had dogs come in that were actually frozen to the ground in their own feces. Yeah, we've rescued one little dog, I want to say Buddy, came in and they cut a barrel in half, and that was his doghouse, and he was frozen to the ground.
Right now, these puppies are looking for a home, and more become available every day. For Mediaplex News, I'm Stacey Janzer.
The Ford Motor Company of Canada recently made a donation of 39 historic Windsor photographs to the Art Gallery of Windsor. Radar Zinchlioglu has the story.
Windsorites have the chance to connect with their automotive past through photographs on display at the Art Gallery of Windsor. The exhibit features works of famed Canadian photographer Yusuf Karsh. Karsh was hired by the Ford Motor Company in 1951 to take photos of Windsor assembly plant workers. Cassandra Getty co-curated the exhibition and says the photos are important for exploring ideas of history and identity.
I think images of labor in Canada and the idea of an industrial landscape being a part of the Canadian experience is very important to emphasize.
Getty contends the collection not only adds an important note to Karsh's body of work, but understanding the history of Windsor as well.
You can't think of a city like Windsor without the impact that manufacturing has had on it.
Several attendees at the tour pointed out personal connections to the photographs. Mary Legionnaise found out about the exhibit from her brother-in-law in Toronto. He had spotted an image of his father, Omar Legionnaise, in a photo advertising the collection's display. The photo depicts workers in a Windsor assembly plant paint room. She says the image brings her comfort and pride.
And tomorrow's going to be the anniversary of his passing away. And to see him there is just precious. Just precious.
HEW Director Catherine Maston said the collection is an important part of the gallery's archives and Windsor's history as a whole.
We have a history in Windsor, whether people know it or not, of having some really wonderful people having passed through the community and done important things. Yusuf Karsh is one of those figures.
Admission to the gallery is free, and the exhibition runs through to April. For more information, visit agw.ca. For Mediaplex News, at the Art Gallery of Windsor, I'm Radar Zinchlioglu.
When temperatures drop, pet owners are advised to keep their pets indoors. But what about the animals who aren't house-friendly? Haley Trelout reports.
For some Windsorites, winter is nothing a shovel and some salt can't handle. For pet owners, however, winter can be a dangerous threat if they're not careful.
You have snow on your face.
Doreen Lyles has owned horses for 40 years. She says her biggest fear going into this winter was losing one of her older horses.
Our horses are very old. Red, he has arthritis in one leg, and so we were really worried about him because he was actually in the fall limping quite a bit, and we wondered how he would make it through the snow.
Her veterinarian, Dr. Robert Featherston, says the season is tougher on older animals, but with proper care, their chances could strengthen.
We see a lot of old animals not able to make it through the winter. The wind chill takes a lot of the heat away from the animal very quickly.
Each animal has a different thickness to its fur coat, something that gives it tolerance to the weather for a period of time. Featherston says the coat is not enough.
So we must remember that through evolution we've domesticated essentially wild animals, and they've become very dependent on our homes. The ones in the wild, they're used to curling up in a sheltered area underneath a trunk, keeping each other warm, where in fact our dogs and domestic cats cannot weather the outdoors quite as well as the wild ones.
Like humans, animals need food and water so their bodies can fight better against the cold. If these standards aren't met, Windsor's Humane Society gets the call.
There are standards of care that we have to follow that have been developed for various farm animals. People might feel that we're not taking action on a situation, but the reality is we can only enforce the standards that the law gives us. If the standards say that shelter is adequate, can't force them as long as the animals are in good body condition.
As for Red and his herd,
all their lives they've been outside, so they're used to being outside day and night. When the alerts go out, you should bring the animals in. We make sure that they're in for sure.
keep in mind, whenever you can feel the cold through your coat, chances are they can too. Try to bring your animals in whenever you feel Jack Frost is about to strike, and keep an eye on your local forecast for any warnings to bring your animals inside. Reporting for Mediaplex News, I'm Haley Treelout.
We're going to take one last look outside with our weather specialist, Haley Treelout. Haley?
Well, in case you missed us, here's our 3-day weather forecast. Tomorrow, we're looking at mixed precipitation with much more enjoyable 4 degrees and a low of -3. Thursday, we're going up to 5 degrees with light rain and once again a low of -3. Finally, we're going to start our weekend off with mixed precipitation again with a high of 3 and a low of -2. That's it from here on the corner of University of Victoria at the wonderful Mediaplex. I'm Haley Treelout. Go Canada! Back to you, Stacey.
Thank you, Haley. Come on in and get warm. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Stacey Janzer, and you've been watching Mediaplex News Now.
Mediaplex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.